Good morning, good afternoon, people. Tom, Park Avenue Forex here. Update again for the Euro Yen. I keep coming back to this one because I find it quite interesting that it's in such a tight compression mode that eventually it's going to break one way or the other. However, right now, we're back to that same old point that I was talking about on a previous video. Right in here at the 125.83 level. Remember originally I said it's going to be some resistance at 125.73, and we came back. I don't remember how many videos ago it was, but we came back and we tested it and we eventually broke higher. I said that we needed to stay above 126.50 in order to attack the upper TRN and try to get above the upper TRN in order for the marketplace to go to higher levels. Euro Yen has not been able to do that. I also said that the strength in Euro Yen was coming through Dollar Yen, and in other words, Dollar Yen was rallying. The Euro really wasn't doing much. It was basically staying pinned at the 118, say 70 level on average or something like that. So all the strength of the Euro against the Yen was because the Dollar Yen was getting stronger, hence the Yen was getting weaker. I'm thinking we're going to see an uncoupling soon. What I mean by that is that eventually the Euro is probably going to get weaker as the Dollar Yen gets stronger. So dollar strength across the board will force Euro Yen down. Now, again, this is just, speculation, and that's what I do, obviously, speculation. But it's really a point of circumspect. I'm really looking at it going, we can't get above this 126.50 and stay above 126.50 to push up. Market seems to have a lot of supply. So this is a daily chart I have here, and what we're going to look at here is, if I show you, if I can zoom in right here, I have a demand point here that I'm connecting to from a trend line, from a demand point lower, okay? And the market comes up, and I don't really like this, that it broke the trend line and kind of like just stood here. However, I can't use this demand point yet because I have to wait until today closes in order for me to determine whether or not this low is going to be lower than this one. It is right now by just a few pips. So if this marketplace was to stay as an inside bar today, I'll be able to use this as a say, okay, that's a good, demand point that I can draw a trend line to, and then we can make calculations as to whether or not, if it breaks, whether or not it should hold or not. However, today we're opening up below this previous line that's been chopped through a couple of times. Again, it's not the best trend line because it's been pierced. However, we are opening up below it, and I can't use this line yet. So this actually is saying weakness because we're opening below this line. However, if we would have opened, let's say like, no, I don't want to do this thing freehand. If we would have opened up here, for instance, and then this, then came down, then we could say, oh, okay, this is probably, just chopping through it. There's nothing to it. But because we did not open above it and chop through, this is kind of significant. So in other words, we're probably going to be pushing down to the TRN. So I'm going to do a quick calculation for you. So we're going to do a quick calculation. We're going to do demand pressure or buying pressure. We know that we need to get through 126.50. So a quick little calculation we can do is we can say, okay, we're going to use yesterday's bar as our point of interest. Okay, so we're going to take the close, right, which is 125.74, and I'm going to subtract the low out of that, which is, okay, hang on here, 125.30. We get a total of 44 pips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to the close. So if I take 125.74 plus 0.44, I'm going to get 126.18, which is lower than 126.50. So if we were to break up through 126.50, there's a reason to say that we should enter this day, because the demand pressure, or the buying pressure, was lower than this, so therefore it's going to trigger stops, and we should run up from that point. So that would be a validation that we're going higher. So the opposite is basically selling pressure, or supply pressure. So we're going to take the high, 125.98, and the close, which was 125.74. And we get 24 pips. And we're going to subtract that from the close. So 125.74, 0.24 out. We get 125.50. Okay, so since we don't really have a trend line to look at, because this one's chopped up, this one's opening lower, it's obviously higher than our supply pressure, or our, or our selling pressure. We have to look at to the TRN. The 125.50 is definitely higher than that. And that's a good amount. That's 50 pips. If we were to break this TRN, most likely we're going to attack lower. Where? I would have to say we're probably going to possibly today go to this low day's close, which is 124.33. Now all those other levels that we talked about before are still good. The 124.30, so we're going to probably sit right here before the market makes a decision whether or not there will be an uncoupling occurring pretty quickly. So review the other videos to see those points. Let me just go down on a 4-hour, show you the 4-hour. The 4-hour looks like. Here's our 4-hour, same type of thing. We can come up with a 4-hour trend line coming probably off of this low, coming up through here, and that will give us a 4-hour time frame to look at. Let's put this here, and let's come off of this. Change the color in a second. Let's just make it red. What the heck, All right, so this value is basically 125.32. So we got 125.50. So short term, if we break 125.32, we should get enough pressure for a short term trade to at least attack the TRN. And if it breaks the TRN and stays below the TRN, then we're going down to that level that we talked about, the 124.35 level. So that would be a good intraday, great intraday trade, short term, tight stop. Same thing with here. We had the buying pressure, so we take a line there, and actually the buying pressure was what? I forget now. 126, I think, 30, right? So the value of this line, it's going to be above this line, so therefore it should be a false breakout up top. So there you guys have it, a little bit of euro yen kind of daily analysis. Remember, enjoy the party, dance near the door. Cheers.